Hey everyone, it's Char from Char's Fascination. Oh my gosh, like, have you ever found one of the more modern patterns that absolutely, and I was in a challenge for this, the yellow dress challenge? How many years ago was that? Anyway, it's been a while. And I had the intent to seam rip at least the skirting apart. So I will show you what I'm going to do in a minute. This is one of the worst patterns ever. If I don't link it up here, the left is where that will be. Which is your right, but my left. Anyway, which will be up here somewhere. I will link it either up here or in the description box from years ago when I said this. Hasn't really been that many years. Anyway, this was not Vogue's best pattern, 1671. This I will tweak, but in the meantime, do you want to know how much fabric is supposed to go into that simple look? Would you know? And this is supposed to be a redesign of a vintage pattern by Vogue. But I believe this was also used for some nursing uniform. Don't quote me on that. I will look that up. This literally takes 10 yards of fabric. That includes the interfacing. And I don't think it's worth 10 yards of fabric. So when I did this, I initially had to add an extra, look, it came with a pocket pattern piece, which I will say that's the only part of this I like. Thank goodness I did this stitching in here. That way it makes it way easier to disassemble. Now, will I disassemble the pockets? Yeah, of course I will. And why? Because when I reassemble this, I want to put the pockets back on. So everything will be layered. And I know I don't like using my sewing pins, but I will pin it like I did this mock-up over here for something else out of some old fabric. So I will be seam ripping this and then show you a little bit of it as I'm seam ripping. So let me get the camera turned around and we'll be right back. Right? Okay, so as some of you will know, I had to purchase extra seam ripper and, cleaner and all that. And then one day my seam ripper that came with this, which is also the cleaning brush, showed back up. How about that? What kind of magic is that? Anyway, so on one side of the back, the backing part that ended up needing an extra panel because it just didn't fit right. Oh goodness. So when we gotta do this, let's find where that pocket is. Okay, the pocket's right here. Where is it? Where did you go? Okay, yeah, that's right. When I sew pockets onto anything, what I do, and I think if you've watched long enough, I do face to face, which means right side up, and put the pocket as wrong side up. That way it makes it easier to put that in. So now you would think I'd go from here down. No, because the first thing you need to loosen up is the waist on this. But like I said, I don't think that this pattern was actually worth 10 yards of fabric. Now, this is not fabric from the Hobby Lobby. This is not fabric from Joann. This is fabric from, either from Sam's Fabric, which went out of business, That's why I still have a lot of fabric. I'm not gonna lie. When a fabric store goes out of business and you can speak to the owner, right, about make a deal with them. You'll take X amount of dollars to them to shop just to help clear it out, right? That way they're not stuck with the rest. And then give them a little tip like I did. Fabric Mart buys dead stock fabrics, right? Like the stuff that's left over from the previous season, and that's how we get that on a bargain. I'm not sure. Yeah, you know what? I think I did get this from, I have to look back in that. I think it could have been Fabric Mart because Viv may have gotten the same fabric. Sometimes we get the same fabric by accident. Now, if you paid attention to what I'm doing right here with the seam rip, right? I'm doing this without my glasses on because like lately my eyes are adjusting because of my medicine. Okay, now pay attention, like right here. I'm gonna catch a few and then rip it forward. Catch a few, rip it forward. And that way you are not stuck with pick. Don't be picky. And you can rip right through without actually ripping the fabric. Now, I'm going to get most of this seam ripped and then we'll be back towards the end. As we seam rip, I got the extra panel almost off. Ooh, and I'm working on a pocket, but look at the pile of dreaded threaded. I mean, like, I didn't pull some of it. This pile is going to stack up. So, I look forward to seeing how much of the thread that I dread picking piles up. So before I go to sleep tonight, progress. Look at that. You want to talk about progress. Let's not lose the seam ripper. That helps. That helps. Oh. Yeah, I finally got like the front open. Then I will seam rip this extra piece off. This was the extra piece that I had to lay in. I did a pretty good hem on that. But anyway, it's time to like finish seam ripping all of this tomorrow. And I'll be back. So we are back on day 2 of picking this apart. We are. So last night I at least got one side of the front seam ripped away from front side panel. Yeah, front side panel. I'm telling you, like this produced this. It's like a tribble of thread. Don't have any troubles with your thread. Your thread becomes a tribble of several colors. So that's just like the natural weave off of the fabric itself. But yeah, let's get back to picking. So, okay, this part right here that's laid out like this, that's pocket. So this part I still have to pick apart, pick that loose. And then that will be one pocket completely picked off. I'm not pissed off. I'm just picking it off. Oh my gosh, even though it's gloomy out today, it is not going to keep me from doing what I love to do. And, just try to have a good day. The last couple of days, I've been kind of struggling with like not a super bad headache. I think is that already picked? I don't know. Maybe. Anyway, I kind of just been struggling with like a pressure headache. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Not this headache in the sinuses, but the headache near the temples. That's pressure. You ever had those? So again, I just lay the fabric like this, right? Just lay it as flat as possible where that is, and then when you can see where it is, when you can see where the thread is, obviously I don't have my glasses on. Sometimes I don't need them. Other times I do, but I think it's easier on this side for some weird reason to like catch the threads and pick them out. So there's that. Let me finish getting this picked off. Like I said, I'm going to get most of this picked free. I just wanted to show you that I got this pocket mostly off of there. And why is that not stopping? Anyway, it's an anomaly. Wow. Okay, so far this is our tribble. Oh my goodness, like that's a lot. And I'm on the very last two panels. Let me scooch you up here. You're on the two very last panels. Let me move the tribble. That's a lot of thread, y'all. That is a lot of thread. And I have like little thread pieces on my pants. Both pockets have been removed. Okay, that's one, and here's the second one. So before I actually like work with this fabric again, what I will do is wash and iron, or at least iron, because this has already been washed. So this is where the second pocket was. This is a little chewed up from picking. But that's why we have fabric shears, right? So this is basically like being in the home stretch. I've just taken this and run it along. Catch the threads, catch the thread, run it through. It's a lot easier on this side of the fabric to see that thread. Now the darker side, I could see it, but it's a little harder to get it. And now when I did this dress, that's why you see some gray thread in there, is because I had to use what I had. I didn't have a lot back then. Add to the pile. That's how I'm adding to the pile, is like when I come to a point, then I add to the pile of thread. So this I'm almost done with. So when I'm done seam ripping this apart, then I will show you the amount of panels that I have. And then what we will do is 24 inches is a yard. So we will literally measure this. So 24 inches is a yard. And 12 inches is only a foot. So a foot is a half a yard of fabric. So we'll be back as soon as I'm done. Yay. just when I thought I was almost done seam ripping, like, look at this big pile of thread that I've seam ripped. Look, it's like a kitten, but it's not a kitten. So I still have this panel to seam rip. This is a front panel, which is 2 panels together with the darts in it, which I will seam rip those darts too. Maybe. Yeah, I'll seam rip those. And then like this piece here, which will end up being a waistbanding. I have one here that I need to seam rip off of this. Yeah, because that needs some help. And then we'll be back tomorrow because it's been 2 days of seam ripping this. Maybe I can find the bodice. Anyway, I'll see you tomorrow. Welcome back to day 3. Hey, remember how I said that changes color? Look, it changes color. Oh, it's interesting, the paintings that I do. Anyway, that's not what we're here for. We're here for day 3 of seam ripping. Yes, we are. I don't care that this reflects on my glasses. So we are seam ripping this morning, and then have this. Remember I was working on this one last night. Holy crap, biscuits. Anyway, this is the thread tribble that we have been working on. So I am going to seam rip that while either finishing watching Serena, I'll leave her listed, or her and the Stitchery. I will leave both of them listed in the description box of this video. Now, a thing that I have thought about doing with this, press it all nice and beautiful, and then take a vintage pattern and use this material for that. So anyway, let me get to ripping this apart. Okay, well, let's move my charging cord out of the way. Isn't that a nifty thing? And you can always find it in the dark. So this is the piece where we have totally seam ripped even the dart. Because gosh darn it, there's still some thread on it. Goes to the pile. Okay, so let's move that piece to the side because we're still not done seam ripping. Trust me, the struggle is real. So, that was not a fart, people. That was my chair creaking. Although right now, I'm actually uploading a cooking video. If you like my cooking videos, go check them out. I'm starting to put them in playlist. So you'll see a lot of cooking with Char soon. Okay, let's make sure we've got all this. And then we want to make sure on this side where you're able to actually catch some of this. And it'll bunch up. I'm not going to lie to you, that'll bunch up. And sometimes, there we go. The satisfaction. The satisfaction of taking that one thread as far as it will go. Oh my goodness. You saw that. There's no not seeing that. Does that even sound weird? Yeah. Who cares? Anyway. So let me move y'all back just a little bit more and turn ya. And then what I do is, this already came apart, but what I would normally do is just take it here on the edge if it wasn't already apart like that and just kind of like lightly tug. But this part, I'm going to have to say this came apart pretty good. And even though that seemed like that was going back, it did not. I will pick the rest of the threadings out after a while. well this is processing. That's processing really good. Like I said, I have a cooking video uploading. You can't see that too good, but whatever. Anyway, I'm actually gonna finish seam ripping this one. And if I can do the same thing, then I will show you it's a little coup de ta-ta. Because look, I have that other banding right here, like the other one that I showed you. So I have to seam rip this off and then seam rip these two panels apart and the bottom, so, and the top. So there's all that to seam rip right here and right here. And then, like I said, you know, our tribble is slowly growing. Remember that thing was smaller. Anyway, we'll be back with tribble bits. Okay, and just when I thought I was done and I looked through all the panels, I was like, no, you have got to be kidding me. I'm telling you all, seam ripping for 3 days, just when you think you were done. Oh. Anyway, here's that one thread. Here's a thread that will go either way. And I'll just set that there. Oh, goodness. I've had a very long 3 days of seam ripping. That finally, let me get this turned around. Oh, that's a lot of fabric. You know what else is a lot? Oh my goodness. The thread tribble. Look at all that thread. Oh my gosh. I swear this has to be like 5 yards of fabric. You know what though? This is kind of like, it's like a kitty. Anyway, we're not going to keep the, wow. And if I did, I'd probably put glue around it to harden it, you know, on both sides. But we're not going to do that. Oh my God. 3 days, y'all. 3 days. Anyway, here's the 2 pieces that went on the front of the skirting. Let's put that there. And we shall now grab the measuring tape. The sun. Anyway, I gotta put my glasses on. Now, I let the pockets sit over here, all 4 pieces. So we'll go ahead and put this here, because waistbanding and pockets need to go in that area. Oh, I'm telling you all. Like, this has been a very long and tedious, let me move that fabric. And these don't belong like right next to each other. So we will put this here. And we'll start with this one. I think we'll do this by length because that will better tell us. This is one of the skirt back panels. This is one of the skirt back panels. And get this turned right. So the smaller panels are 31 inches long. Okay. If you want to see, let me turn the camera. So, okay. This from end to end is 31 inches. So that's more than a yard, but I'm going to say this is like a yard and a fourth. So this is a yard and a fourth. So any panel this size is a yard and a fourth. Just put that there. Oh my goodness. So we have another small, we'll just go ahead and measure it. And then you have to remember that also, I might have to like unfold the ends. Oh, Oh, because I didn't unfold that end. It's actually 32. Okay, 32. It's still a yard and a bit. So like I said, these smaller panels should be about the same length, depending on the side that they were on. Now we'll be able to tell by like right here if there was a pleating or a darting. I'm going to say a darting because gosh darn it. Now this one is 31. One of these has to be from the front. Whew. Okay, another small one. 32. I'm going to say the 32 is the back. And yeah, the 32 is the back. The back of this was longer than the front of this, so we can still do this way. Unfold that is 32. We're almost done measuring these out. We've got these panels and then we're done measuring this out. Yeah, this is another 31. And, oh, I thought we had less than that. I know one of these ended up being like some big old square or something. Anyway. I was just finishing watching a podcast that Jen Gerard was a guest on. Like, girl, I didn't know you went through all that. 32, that's a back piece. I mean, I knew she went through, like, her house burnt down and she broke her foot. Which I was glad to talk her through some stuff. 32. Okay, so that's the back pieces measured out. Let me turn the camera. Now, pretty much that's it. This is the Friday when I'm done filming this, but I'll probably just edit and upload and put it up on a Saturday. So Saturday is when this is uploaded, even though I filmed it on Friday. So yeah. Anyway, if you enjoy watching me seam rip, kindly leave that in the comments below. And stay happy, stay healthy, stay positive, and as always, stay blessed. I told y'all, like, look, that painting changes colors during the day. Look at the top of it. Right here, starting to get darker. This is starting to get a little dark. I don't know how I do that. It's a hidden skill, just like sewing. Anyway, I'm tired. I will see you in the next one.